Welcome to this edition of Clubcast. First and foremost, I want to thank all of our sponsors, our donors, our funders, and especially our parents and kids. We really want to give a great shout out to our parents and those grandparents and folks that are taking care of our most valuable asset, our children, for trusting Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County to spend lots of time with all these amazing young people. Today I have a very special guest who's been with Boys and Girls Clubs for at least 5 years and has just done some incredible things. Dr. Anastasia Legakis. How are you, Doctor?
I'm well. I'm well.
It's always like fun for me to just say, I have a Dr. Anastasia Legakis working for us at Boys and Girls Clubs.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get right into it. You've been a valuable asset to our organization. 5 years, was that correct?
Yes.
5 years. I remember the day I hired you, and it's just been going in the right direction. We've been, you and I, from the very beginning, trying to balance between being in a school and being in an enrichment program, and I think we've made it somewhat in the middle.
We sure have.
Where kids can come in, have a great time while learning and experiencing great things. Mm-hmm. We had a conversation some time ago, I want to say just over about 1.5 years ago. We were having lunch with Melanie, and you had something to say. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And you mentioned continuous quality improvement. And while I've heard the term continuous quality improvement, I kind of didn't really know where you were going in terms of how that would relate to our Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County. But I was so interested in wanting to know, where was this coming from and how could this benefit our community? So I want to start with maybe you introducing you and your experience, and then kind of diving into this whole continuous quality improvement.
Sure. Thank you. So I am a former educator and administrator, and I just knew that as an educator that while I wanted my kids to learn, I also wanted them to have fun in a structured environment. And I think that's one of the things that I remember when you first hired me, when I talked about structure, that kind of hit something for you, or at least it appeared like it did. And so when I was the vice president of operations, it's just some of the things that I had looked at. And you know, it's a robust position with a lot to do. So I knew that as we continue to grow as an organization, that it was important to have somebody that really focused on quality and improvement and really what that meant, because it wasn't a matter of good or bad. It was just a matter of being better and getting better and throughout the organization.
Yeah, I like that. And you know, we've had some transition. I mean, we're in growth mode. Mm-hmm. I mean, and we as the Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County are doing exactly what the county's doing in the cities, right? They're growing. And you know, we got lots of new families coming in from all over the country, from down south, Florida. We wanted to make sure that we have a place where kids could learn and can grow. And when we talk about continuous quality improvement, it's really to be the best version of us as an organization, to really align ourselves with our vision, mission, and values, but also what the community is needing, right? Especially in the nonprofit world. You know, we come in as a group that fills the gaps within communities. And so when you talk about this idea of quality, continuous quality improvement, can you share with what does that really look like to you? Is there, how do you do it? Are we looking at the way we do different processes on certain things at one time? Are we looking at, what kind of learnings we want to give to the kids? Staff development? Like, what does that look like?
So it looks like processes for better and improved business operations, services, and outputs. So let's look at just programming as an example. You talked about that, what we can do for the community. Well, to me, one of the best things that we do for the community is that we work with the children in the community to help build not only their academics, but their social skills, help them in leadership, self-awareness, so that they could be productive citizens in the community. And so quality improvement looks at our programming and how can we improve programming and what needs to be part of programming so that we're having the best impact for our kids that we serve.
I like that. And I just want to make a point that even when you look at programming, the staff, a lot of the staff that are doing the program, a lot of them are just coming out of high school themselves,
Yes.
are in college. We were looking at some stats the other day, and it showed that 80 of our 180 employees are under the age of 25, and more than half of those employees are high schoolers. And so when you look at continuous quality improvement, how do we tie that like really back in? Because the kids are while we're here, right? The kids and the children and the teens. But how do we tie back into the staff development to improve their skills in order to better serve our children and teens?
So I would argue with anyone that I might have one of the best positions in the organization, because not only am I able to work with all staff, but I'm able to be part of working with staff who may be new in these positions, young staff who are learning how to be professionals and what that means. And I'm able to work with them in group settings, one-on-one, to help them to grow, to build their confidence in themselves, not only as a person, but as a professional. And as a professional working with young people and the impact that they can have. What I love is that our staff will grow their careers with us, or if not, we've grown them so that when they go out in the world that they're prepared to be professionals with others as well.
I like that you said that, because our young staff, most of them, it's not a career. And I'm going to say that out loud, because, we're at this place where we're saying we want to make sure that our staff are staying with us. But the reality is staff at the age groups that we're talking about, half of them have other aspirations. I can tell you that over the 6 years I've been here, 7 years I've been here, at least 30 or 40 of them are now working for St. Lucie Public Schools, because they came up in Boys and Girls Clubs, they became staff at Boys and Girls Clubs, they went to college, during the summers they came back, and with the idea of being a part of St. Lucie Public Schools.
Right.
And that is the piece that I enjoy. I think for me, I also enjoy watching our staff grow and become executives at other places, become leaders in other places, and some they just do a really good job here too. But the goal is really just to grow them as an individual, not for the sake of saying, I just want to keep you under our wings, but to make sure they're growing to be mature young adults.
Right.
I want to talk about with you is maybe an example or two of someone that I could think of, at least one person that I've just watched them flourish through the continuous quality improvement. that you have seen, that you have personally worked with in our organization? Maybe a team, maybe a director or of something of that nature.
So I have worked with a club director who, interestingly enough, we were part of, it was a data analysis meeting with Tyson Teens. And we looked at the data that was collected for how our employees feel about the organization. And this club director is somebody who never spoke up, who did not have that confidence. And she and I worked together, and I sat there with, literally my mouth was hanging wide open because she just took charge. She asked very poignant, interesting questions and answered questions and responded well to the data and talked about what we need to be doing moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
So, in your position, do you get to do a lot of trainings? I know you train a lot, right? You do a lot of research.
Yes.
You work with our grants department. But as for you in training, like BGCA, what trainings are you doing that enhances the experience for our young people or our staff in general?
So I recently ended a 4-part series training where we talked about productivity skills and exactly what that means, and focusing on our roles rather than tasks, and focusing on attention management rather than time management. We talked about data and what it means, and looking at our own software that we use, the Vision software, and how to analyze data. We talked about pulse checks, how they can take their data and maybe create surveys or polls for our parents or even the members that we serve about improvement. And really what we talked about was, how do you know you're improving? How do you know that what you're changing is an actual improvement? And going through the continuous quality cycle of that.
So I would say continuous means exactly what it says, right? You're
Yes.
not gonna. It's not gonna all happen in one day.
Right.
It's really meeting our staff where they're at, so that they can perform at the level that they can perform, right?
Meeting them where they are right now.
So talk to me about that.
And meeting them where they are and teaching them that where they are is not a bad place. It's just where you are. And teaching them how to become better. What things to look at in their club. What do you want to change? What goals do you have? And empowering them to create this for themselves. Letting them know that they can do this, that this is what their job is to do, to look at this, and providing that support and confidence, and letting them know that it's okay if it didn't work, but that you took that leap. And let's look at what didn't work and how to grow it from there.
I get excited to know that the position and the role that you play helps keep all of us honest. It keeps us where we should be, just kind of looking at improving ourselves. I was thinking about one of the programs that we do is Back to Zero with the kids. And to me, that's all about improving the quality, right? Because sometimes as humans, we have our own things that we come in to work with, right? You want to talk a little bit about that and how that ties into just the quality of programming and just continuing to do that?
So Back to Zero is teaching kids how to de-escalate. And what I love about it is let's work with our employees on this as well, because we don't know what kind of day they had, so that by the time they come into work, they could be at a 7. How are we recognizing that, and what are we doing to help them so that when they're at work and working with the kids, that they're in a place that they can help the kids to de-escalate? And so that program to me is one of the best, because it's not just about the kids, but it's about it's about the employees serving the kids and working with the kids and teaching them methods and strategies to help bring them their own emotions back down.
I like that. I want to have more conversation about that when we return, because I think when you look at the quality of a program, sometimes people just look at us as the Boys and Girls Clubs or one of the other after school programs, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's just not, I'm talking about quality programs. So
Right.
there's a lot more. So when we come back, we're going to keep talking. Please watch this beautiful video. And a lot of these things that you're seeing is happening right in your community. We'll see you soon.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. The sounds of tutoring and tech and health and fitness and arts and music. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
So thank you for joining us for our second half. I want to continue this conversation with Dr. Anastasia Lagakis because it's very important that we understand how important continuous quality improvement is. It's not just a one-time deal in terms of, you know, how staff are going to relate to their jobs or how our youth are going to respond to the staff. So I want to continue that conversation with Dr. Lagakis. So, you know, to me, when I look at continuous quality improvement, I've seen this in my past in jobs and different jobs that I had. It really came down to just a task, right? Getting a task done with nothing else. And so I want us to like dissect a little bit about Boys and Girls Clubs. And then hopefully I have permission to do this, but I think this is for all after school programs or people who take care of children. And so there has to be, in my opinion, a continuous quality program or something that allows you to get better versus trying to take a 1980 or 2000 way and try to implement that into a 2022 kid, right? It just doesn't work, right?
Right.
A baby boomer and a Gen X are just so far apart, you know? A baby boomer, Gen Z rather, but a baby boomer, Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, they're so far apart in the way they respond. And I think we, as an agency, we really do good at kind of looking at that. And we're making the investment. This is an investment, right? Because people would look at, okay, so why do you need a continuous quality improvement person versus you need a continuous person, somebody that's continuing that quality to make sure that what we're doing is meeting the standards of today. You have any thoughts on, I mean, I got a lot to say about it, but there's a cost to doing that.
There is.
So what are your thoughts in terms of not so much just how we do it at Boys and Girls Clubs, but the cost of it for even in our community?
So there is a cost because it's not telling somebody, oh, we want you to just run this program. It's teaching them about the program. It's talking about how do we know that we're having an impact? How are we measuring our impact? How do we know that we're being effective for the kids that we're serving? How do we know that we're being effective for our employees? So, you know, we have to come up with processes and a structure for this. We have to come up with ways of measuring, teaching our employees. You know, our young people don't come in as trained teachers, as trained educators. So it's teaching them what goes into programming, what should be part of programming. How do we make sure that our kids have a sense of belonging?
I like that.
How do we make sure that if there's a conflict, that we're actually really using evidence-based methods to teach our kids to deal with conflict and work through conflict?
Well, and that's why I am so happy about this role that you play, because we've seen an improvement in our overall organization. You know, take summer. You know, I have two of my kids that and we were talking about this earlier. Two of my kids that I adopted that come to Boys and Girls Clubs, and that's because I'm a structured kind of person, and so I wouldn't bring my kids to Boys and Girls Clubs if I didn't feel that they weren't structured. But the kids are still having fun.
That's right.
But in the while it's being structured, we have to teach the people in order for it to happen. Like, we got to teach the staff
Every day.
every day, because not just because they're young, but because things change, different personalities with our kids. I mean, we serve a variety of kids from different walks, so we got to be able to manage all of them. But my excitement is with this whole program is a continuous quality improvement, is that we're stepping out to say, if we're going to have the best community where great futures really do matter, we need to be positioned to be able to do that. And I am going to move over here to this camera for a second, if you don't mind. I think so many of our after-school programs, and I'm so thankful for Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County for what they do, and all of our funders and donors. But here's something that I will tell you. If you don't have a good training program, it's only going to be a short-term gain. And at Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County, we're being bold in saying that in order to help grow our community, we have to have the right people in place. And we have to make things that we maybe didn't do in the past, we have to do it a little bit different. And Dr. Anastasia Legakis' role is a role that's going to reap benefits beyond, my time here as a CEO at Boys and Girls Clubs, because it's going to be a continuous effort on our parts. And I would ask anybody that supports an after-school program to really think about how a program can be stronger, and that it's not necessarily just the frontline person, but it's the people behind the scenes, like a Dr. Legakis, who ensures that we keep the continuous programs working, and that they're working with fidelity, with data, with all the things that matter, right? Not just the touchy-feely piece, which is what we like, but we also want to make sure that it's evidence-based, and that, we make a decision that is a decision that has been tried and true. And Boys and Girls Clubs of America does a great job with that too, and helping us make that happen. So thank you for listening to me, my little rant for a second. I'm going to go back to Dr. Legakis. And
So one of the things that I created was a more robust onboarding, but not just onboarding. We created milestones so that for that first year, that it's not, okay, you're done with onboarding, good luck. It's no. You have this onboarding, but we're going to be with you for the entire year. And you're going to partake in different trainings, and we're going to have coaching, and you're going to have all the support that you need to be the best that you can be.
Do you find that employees, when we continuously do this, do you find that employees want that training, or they want to be held accountable to a standard within the organization?
They want the training, they feel valued, they feel empowered, they feel they have ownership, they feel appreciated, instead of just, oh, hi, thank you. No. And we're really not calling it training, we're calling it personal development, because that's really what we're doing. We're hoping to create lifelong learners.
I want to talk about, as we talk about continuous quality improvement, there is a lot of kids in our community, and it's not, the growth is continuing, right? Port St. Lucie, the growth is just like, I can't even keep up, but
Yes.
it's awesome growth. Fort Pierce, awesome growth. In our county, it's awesome growth. And we have some, this is going to be the first time that I mention the Lighthouse Teen Development Center, because we're still in that quiet phase of it. But this is going to be important for Boys and Girls Clubs. This is going to be important to the community. We're going to build a 12,000 square foot, just over 12,000 square foot work center, but it's going to be called Lighthouse Teen Development Center, but it's just going to be strictly for teens. And it's going to give teens an opportunity to have fun, but learn workforce readiness. It's going to be an opportunity for so many people to rally around our teens in Fort Pierce, which is so important to me personally. I know to you, Anastasia, and our
Yes.
entire team. And so I'm excited, very excited. I don't know if the camera will see that, but if it does, but that's what the building is going to look like. But what I'm excited for is the kids are excited. And that's when I go back to that continuous quality improvement. There was a time that the kids didn't even think about this kind of stuff. And the better we get as an organization, the more we involve our young people to want to be involved in this. And that's what's exciting to me.
Right.
Is that we're not just doing this by ourselves. Our young people say we need this in our community, and they want to have a safe environment.
Right. Yeah, kids are having fun at Kaiser University, learning the different programs there, participating in academic help there, their math lab, their science lab. They're having fun with Embry-Riddle, learning the drones and possibly getting licensed
Yes.
as a drone flyer. So they are, our teens are not only having fun, but are learning, are feeling bold and empowered and confident, and that's exciting.
I think I can almost leave on that, because I think that you're so right. They're doing an 8-week program over at Kaiser right now, which is Workforce Readiness Program.
Yes.
And Indian River State College, we're working with Indian River State College. So I'm very excited of our community coming together on behalf of our young people.
Yes.
I could keep talking, but I have just a short time left. Thank you so much for listening to us. There's so much more we want to share with you. If you want to get involved with Boys and Girls Clubs, visit our website, www.bgcfsoc, or you can call us at 772-460-9918. And for somebody that's bold and want to call me directly on my cell, 772-577-8630. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.